My name is Amy Albright. I'm with the Oshkosh Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I'm very proud to be here today. It's my sincere pleasure to welcome each of you to this important ceremony where we have all gathered to celebrate and honor the life, legacy, and culture of the great Menominee Chief Oshkosh. For many years, this memorial has long been without a truthful depiction of this cherished Menominee leader and his many accomplishments. After years of hard work and commitment by passionate individuals, his memorial will be rededicated today with the unveiling of 5 plaque enhancements that provide greater historical accuracy about his life and the Menominee culture. To begin today's program, I would like to introduce University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh student Sarah Schaefer to give the land acknowledgement.
Before continuing this morning's proceedings, we pause to acknowledge that everything we do in this community takes place on the traditional territories of the Menominee people. We pause to honor the first people of this land and sorry about that. We pause to honor the first people of this land and respect their sovereignty and that of their indigenous neighbors, past and present. In pausing to remember the Ocheti Shakowin, the Miamia, the Sauk, the Meskwaki, and the Ho-Chunk, all ancestral neighbors of the Menominee, as well as the 10 other First Nations of Wisconsin, we recognize that we are the beneficiaries of a system of displacement and dispossession that forcibly removed the Menominee from the lives they lived where we now stand. In this, we strive to be accountable by acknowledging this history of violence and its living legacies. But in honoring the indigenous communities around us, past, present, and future, we also recognize their vitality, their kinship to this place, and its human, non-human, and more than human inhabitants. And we express our commitment to existing as neighbors with legitimacy as we contemplate paths forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. It is now my pleasure to introduce David Nakwa Greeno, Tribal Historic Preservation Officer for the Menominee Nation and one of the plaque authors, to give the ceremonial invocation.
Naaposo, Nature Menominee, Mawanika Kikita me Mosta Mochis Nutuap, Masamas Nook. In as recent Nakwa, and then the totem, Mawao, in Itzkiwakian, Kishina, Wisconsin, Menominee Indian Reservation. My name is David Greeno. I'm the Tribal Historic Preservation Officer for the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin. I'm also the NAGPRA designate for the tribe. And I'm from the Menominee Wolf Clan. My name Nakwa means when the sun is at mid-sky. And I live on the Menominee Indian Reservation. Before I do the invocation, I'd like to speak a little about Chief Oshkosh, who was a great leader of our tribe. And Chief Oshkosh was named head chief of the Menominees at the 1827 treaty at Lake Butamore, when the government had asked the Menominee, Winnebago, and Ho-Chunk, and the Chippewa to make boundaries to get ready for treaty land cessions. Oshkosh was given the medal by Territorial Governor Lewis Cass to lead the Menominee people through these negotiations. And it was some hard times for the Menominees, not only as Oshkosh, but other Menominee chiefs that were asked to cede and sell their own homeland in order for in these treaty sessions. And Oshkosh, I can just feel how he felt doing this. But in negotiating these treaties, he always watched out for the people. He always made sure that we had a home. And it was the Treaty of 1848 at Powakane, now it's called Lake Poigan, that the government had asked Oshkosh and other Menominee chiefs to come to the treaty table to speak about the remaining lands, to sell them to the government so that Wisconsin could become a state. And in turn, the government had offered 600,000 acres in the Crow Wing country of Minnesota. And being wise as our chiefs were, they did not sign the treaty right away. What they did was they wanted to go look at the land called Crow Wing that was offered to them. And they were offered a good place full of wild rice, sturgeon, deer, other resources. And our chiefs traveled over there, Oshkosh leading them. And when they got there, they said they were really silent. They didn't see what the government had offered. And they talked among themselves and came back and spoke to the Menominees, and Oshkosh said, "We're not moving." What he said, he told our Menominee people, he said, "Well, I'll go to Washington to speak to the president, and I'll take a delegation of chiefs and interpreters along and speak to the president to see if we can stay in Wisconsin, what would become Wisconsin." And which he did. The delegation traveled to Washington and he spoke to President Fillmore. And Chief Oshkosh was said to say that the poorest land in Wisconsin is better than that of the Crow Wing. Let me move my people to the upper Wolf River, to a land where is only fit for savages and is a wilderness. Let me move my people there. We've been there and we know this wilderness. In a few years later, in the Treaty of 1854, that land was given to us and it became the Menominee Reservation. The Treaty of 1854 was signed at Kashina Falls. But the Menominees had lost a lot of land, but Oshkosh made sure that we had a home in our ancestral territory, and we're one of very few tribes that have a reservation on their ancestral territory east of the Mississippi. But I just wanted to say that much about that. But about these, I was involved with the meetings that brought this forth. There was 4 individuals, especially myself, Dr. Pascal Manner from the University of Oshkosh, Pershing Sport Frechette, former tribal legislature, and tribal member Arnold Chevalier. 4 of us would go to these meetings. We had several to try to convince the city of Oshkosh that there should be the truth said about Oshkosh's legacy and the true history of the Menominee people. And we came up with 5 plaques to show this, and they were finally passed by the city of Oshkosh Council. And this is where we're at today. The plaques are erected and they depict the true legacy of Chief Oshkosh. Not only did he give his name to the city of Oshkosh, but we as Menominee people are his legacy in the land that we live on. There were a few others that came to these meetings. Former tribal chairman Doug Cox, archaeologist Dr. David Overstreet, who works with the Menominees. And I just wanted to acknowledge them and the 4 that brought these forth, and for the city of Oshkosh and the Menominee people. And in closing, I want to do this prayer in the Menominee language, the language that has been spoken on this land for over 10,000 years. And it's from the beginning at our creation story on the Menominee River. Naha nature man na maneok, tanami makanok mishik mahani wiok, e o se ituok. Na hao match wawana ne tēnā match watuka e ope. So nata moina sa wiki taia. So ya pia tuok tēnā wi makanak spas ke watuok. I as wiki ta patch ka tamana patch ka taia. So wante ne swane to to. Katan kota mashikayana in the cost spas wanatuok. So ya wa pia tuok. Match watuka ne on anikin ilma se kamaka. Takano matna maneo kas wiki ta kano se tamana. Katap weo spas na kauta to wane umana chiachin. And they were here to a man and we are can a man of Maneok. And they were at sea to work. Man, we are chaos, Katana, we mark no kawai. China pond case pen case marchin, it's covered deputy stay akiat. Man, we are can a man of we are to him connected to talk me kiawak. Yom mat no mane, man the kako can wait to mook. So no hit us a mat no mane see of mishik. Man the kako, say can cook eos, mishik on a mat no maneo skin. And nipitikana mat no sekia. Tēnā we mākana ke mos. So nata moatsan mishik, tēnā we mākana mahone we ok. Wiske pa matasi and swayan mishik o matna mane. Wai wanan e shope na tēnā we mākana ke mos. Sama chasna toa. Yo yawa tat kumuki konanum. Shigo gitsan zazos. Shigo kum. Umasa nog. Tēnā we mākana kene. Yo.
Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce the grand entry of the veterans of the Menominee Nation. If everyone could please stand. Veterans, post your colors. Thank you. I'm now delighted to welcome City of Oshkosh Deputy Mayor Lindsay Erickson to the podium to share her thoughts.
Hello and welcome. Thank you for having me, and thank you all for being here. Thank you. I'm the Deputy Mayor of City of Oshkosh, Lindsay Erickson. It's an honor to be here with you all today. I want to thank everyone who has worked to tell the true history and legacy of Chief Oshkosh over the years, including through the creation and installation of these plaques. Thank you to the Menominee for your historic and ongoing stewardship of this land that we are now standing on. It has been a long journey to get to this point, and this is a significant moment. We are acknowledging our complicated and difficult history as a city and the land that we now occupy. We are remembering the contributions of Chief Oshkosh from sustainable forestry, treaty negotiation, and protecting the rights of the Menominee. Today we are telling the real story and legacy of Chief Oshkosh and literally cementing that history in the present. I'm encouraged by the steps we're taking together, both as the City of Oshkosh and the Menominee Nation, for a better future. On behalf of the city, I'm honored to rededicate this memorial to Chief Oshkosh, his descendants, and to the Menominee Nation. And with that, I'm happy to introduce a special guest, Governor Evers.
Can everybody hear me? Good. Well, apparently not. Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks, Deputy Mayor Erickson. And I'm so glad to be here today for this really, really meaningful and important event. So I want to thank the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin, the City of Oshkosh, UW Oshkosh, and everybody who has been involved in this project. And as one of my several hometowns, it's also really important to me to see this happen. The work to enhance the statue honoring the life and legacy of Chief Oshkosh has been years in the making. And it's great to see the result of so many individuals' hard work to better represent the significant accomplishments of Chief Oshkosh, who he was, his impact in Wisconsin, and as a leader of the Menominee Nation. And I want to recognize also all those here who are the descendants of Chief Oshkosh, and what a unique opportunity this is to celebrate you and your family's heritage and ties to this land as well. This statue has been a key local landmark in Oshkosh community for years, but unfortunately, its inaccuracy in the physical rendering of Chief Oshkosh and the minimization of his role as an important chief of the Menominee Nation has also perpetuated in minimizing and erasing Native history and the influence of Native leaders. Now this statue memorializes Chief Oshkosh in a way that is more representative of who he was as a leader and serves as a reminder of our continued responsibility to address injustice and work for creating a more inclusive world for all our future generations who will now walk through this park, read these plaques, and have a greater understanding of Chief Oshkosh and the history of the Menominee Nation. As governor, I remain committed to our intergovernmental partnership, respecting tribal sovereignty and celebrating the diversity, history, and cultures that make Wisconsin what it is today. And this rededication ceremony of the Chief Oshkosh Memorial is a great example of what can be accomplished when we prioritize this work and come together as partners at every level. So once again, thank you for everybody from the tribe to the city to the partners to properly recognize Native history. So thank you so much, and I'll turn it back to Amy. Thank you.
Our sincerest thanks to Governor Evers for traveling to Oshkosh today to share in today's important ceremony. I'm honored to introduce Menominee Nation Chairwoman of the Menominee Nation, Gina Kakak, to give her remarks on today's momentous occasion.
Posomi Mauniwiak, Mashik Nitanawan Maknak, Maiwanin Katanin, Mauni Kokno, Mini Keska Yope. Good morning, relatives and everyone here today. And thank you to our Creator for this beautiful day. My name is Gina Kakak, and I am the chairwoman of the Menominee tribe. Thank you, Sarah, for that land acknowledgement. Thank you to the veterans of the Menominee Nation. Menominee Princess Lily Self, and our Menominee Brave Tate Shikazi. And thank you, David Nakwa-Grino, for that Menominee prayer. I want to extend a special thank you to the governor of our great state, Governor Tony Evers, for attending and being here with us today. And also special thanks to the state senator, Lori Palmieri, Deputy Mayor Lindsay Erickson, and City Manager Mark Rolla. We are so grateful to the City of Oshkosh and the planning group, and also sincere thank you to the contributors that have been able to bring this event to this point and to add to this great monument. Chief Oshkosh was one of our great chiefs of the Menominee Nation. It was Chief Oshkosh that laid the foundation of our sustained yield forestry practices by asking that we start in the east side of the forest and work our way west, cutting only the mature and dead trees. He was an excellent negotiator, statesman, and our tribe will always be grateful for his historic leadership. It is a great honor to invite his descendants here today and see the many family members that carry in his legacy. These plaques will add a better understanding to a great leader of our people, and we welcome that. The planning group felt it necessary to ensure that historically correct information be included in the plaques, and we also certainly support that. The Menominee tribe is grateful to the people of Oshkosh and will continue to work together to bring a better understanding of our culture, people, and traditions. We look forward to collaborating on future projects both here and in our homelands. Matchwaiwanan, Inet. So used to grabbing phones.
Thank you, Chairwoman Kakak. Governor Evers did have to leave a little early, but it was such a pleasure having him. It is now my pleasure to introduce former Oshkosh Mayor and now State Representative Lori Palmieri.
I feel like I need a box to tiptoe here.
This is a very tall podium. Okay, just go really tight in there. Yeah.
Poso and Wawainan for spending this beautiful summer morning on the shores of Lake Winnebago with us today. Welcome seems a strange thing to say when these lands were cared for lovingly by the Menominee and other tribes for thousands of years before whites settled the area. Rather, I should say, welcome home. We are here today to celebrate the installation and improvements by the addition of these bronze plaques, which tell some of the Chief Oshkosh story, some of the real story, and the work that he did to preserve his Menominee people and their lands. We are here today to contemplate the history, and we are here today to thank the many people that worked together countless hours to present the story, the real story for the park and monument visitors. I want to thank Governor Tony Evers for making time in his schedule to attend this historic event. And I want to give special thanks to Chief Oshkosh descendants, tribal leaders, Wawaiian Chairwoman Kakik, Dave Greeno, Pershing Frechette, and Arnold Chevalier for their patience and persistence on this project, which started in 2015. I also want to thank Dr. Pascal Manning from UW Oshkosh for her consultation and liaison efforts, along with Shirley Maddox and former Mayor Steve Cummings for their contributions to the project. Additionally, City Manager Mark Roloff, John Fitzpatrick, and Ray Maurer for their implementation efforts. As we gather here today, I am grateful to have been a small part of a project with a large cultural learning impact for the community and visitors alike. Wawaiian, and I do have a small traditional tobacco basket gift of thanks for Chairwoman Kakak, if you could step here.
Thank you, Representative Palmieri. With that, I am delighted to welcome Oshkosh City Manager Mark Roloff to share his thoughts about this important project.
Thank you and good morning. It's a pleasure to have former Mayor and Representative Palmieri with me, because when she precedes me, she always moves the mic down for me. So I appreciate that. Lori's done that for me for many years now. But I want to thank our esteemed guests, the members of the Menominee Nation, including Chairwoman Kakak, along with, and I'm going to miss so many names, so I apologize if I don't mention your name, because so many of you have been instrumental in bringing today's event to us. But David Grigno, Arnold Chevalier, Randall Chevalier, Pershing Frechette, Dr. Pascal Manning from UW Oshkosh. These folks engage with our city staff to bring us today's celebration of Chief Oshkosh's life and accomplishments. And I certainly want to thank Governor Evers for joining us today for this celebration and honoring Chief Oshkosh and the Menominee Nation. The plaques before you and the words you've heard today speak to Chief Oshkosh's many accomplishments as a leader, a statesman, a land steward, and a protector of the Menominee's lands and people. We stand on the tribe's ancestral lands in a park appropriately named for the Menominee tribe, with a new school under construction in the near distance, which will also carry the Menominee name for future generations to learn about and better understand Chief Oshkosh and the Menominee people. I had the pleasure to host members of the Menominee leadership here in Oshkosh just last fall, and we had a wonderful visit. Learning about the tribe's history and culture. We had a great opportunity where we shared some of the items that we have at the Oshkosh Museum, and hearing the history and the stories behind some of these artifacts was just wonderful. And then I had the opportunity to give them a tour of the city named after Chief Oshkosh. And one of the things we wanted to show off was certainly Menominee Park. So we visited this very park, and many of them had never even been to the park, nor did they realize that Menominee Park is our flagship park, the park that we are most proud of. Our wonderful conversations that day, sharing history and traditions, bonded us in a way that I so much appreciate. Our visit together last fall made me look forward to this day, in which we can learn and enjoy hearing about the rich and proud history of the Menominee people, and how we as a city can continue to honor the history and culture of their ancestral home. It's my fervent hope that today will continue the reconciliation with the Menominee Nation and its people, with the city of Oshkosh and our greater community. We have much to learn, we have much to appreciate, and much to enjoy. Thank you for sharing the rich, full history of Chief Oshkosh and the city that proudly bears his name. Please come back and visit us often. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roloff. I'm not used to calling him Mr. Roloff. That's what it said, though, so I felt I needed to say that. It is with deep gratitude that I welcome Chief Oshkosh descendant Catherine Piause. I'm so sorry. I've been practicing this for days. I'm going to try that again. Catherine Oshkosh Piause to give her remarks on behalf of the Chief Oshkosh family. She will be followed by the ceremonial songs and dances by the Wolf River Singers and Menominee ceremonial dancers. Please help me welcome Catherine.
Poso ne chama na manewa mashik na tana we makana mashik maunu wea eos aitua ene akayan kene matamo Nuiswan Catherine. For our family, growing up with the last name of Oshkosh was always something to be proud of. In my younger days, all I knew about this accomplished man was he was pretty important to our Menominee tribe. We had a city that shared the same name as us, and we also had our name all over clothing brands. It wasn't until further in my education that I gained more in-depth knowledge about my great-great-great-grandfather and the significant role he played in sustaining our people. Chief Oshkosh was the son of Chikachikumo, the father of Equineme, Neopet, and Kokaskino. He was the grandfather of Reginald and Ernest, the great-grandfather of Rollin, and the great-great-grandfather of my father David, who is here in the audience today. Our lineage continues today to the 8th generation of Chief Oshkosh's descendants. Chief Oshkosh was an intelligent man who spoke many languages, was an advocate who voiced his opinion when he knew our people were being treated unfairly, a helper, a negotiator, a warrior who fought in many notable battles and earned the name Oshkosh the Brave, and instilled the sustained yield practice that has resulted in the successful reproduction of our forests and our people. As our tribe celebrates our 50th anniversary of restoration this year, it is without a doubt we humbly acknowledge my grandfather for thinking of the next generation during treaty negotiations and keeping us here. On behalf of Chief Oshkosh and his family, we would like to say Match Wawanin for honoring his legacy and allowing us to be present for this historic day.
And now we welcome the Wolf River Singers and Menominee ceremonial dancers. And if everyone could please rise. Thank you. Descendants, please join us. thank you to the Wolf River Singers and the Menominee Ceremonial Dancers for their beautiful and meaningful performance. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize the authors of the plaques. Please stand when you're announced. Dr. Pascal Manning. Give her a round of applause. David Nakwa Greeno. And the third author, Arnold Chevalier, could not be here today. We are grateful to them for their hard work and dedication to this project, which has brought greater meaning and understanding to the indigenous history of the land and its people. And that concludes today's ceremony. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us today to celebrate the rededication of the Chief Oshkosh Memorial. Please take some time to read the new enhancement plaques right behind me. And oh my gosh, okay, sorry. And reflect on this significant occasion. We also welcome you to enjoy the beautiful Menominee Park and Zoo. For those of you who are interested in attending the reception, it will begin momentarily in the Kiwanis Shelter, which is located to my left over back there. Thank you so much for being here. What a wonderful day. We hope you enjoy this beautiful day in Oshkosh. Yep. And we will have a traveling song that will happen right now.
Thanks.